a creativity coach. What is a creativity coach, you ask? Well, good question. As she puts it, her job is to help people strengthen their connection to their creativity, the confidence to express it, and the courage to share it with others. She is a National Endowment for the Arts grant-winning author, artist, and creativity coach. In her 20s, she was hired to teach her multimedia arts curriculum, Dancing into the Arts, in a different school each week. She taught all grade levels in the public schools, universities, hospitals, crisis and rehabilitation centers, juvenile halls, women's clubs, and the mental health courts, the clients and the lawyers, probation officers, and judges. Teaching ended up being the way that she went to school, because she stopped attending school regularly at 7 years old. Her inspirational life prompted many people to tell her to write, including me. Many said that her stories had helped them and would help others. The co-founder of the Sundance Film Festival, Serena Catania, called my mother's memoir and art book, Incandescence Rising Above Darkness, an instant classic. When Serena invited us onto her podcast, she said,
"You are describing some of the most difficult situations I've ever heard for a little girl to go through, but it's done in such a positive, lyrical, spiritual way that it really does rise above what was actually happening to you." And I think in that way, it can be very inspirational to people who are having a hard time, no matter what the hard time is. And I'm really highly recommending it.
I agree, and that's why I wrote a screenplay based on her 52 powerful stories. Even her recollections of the terrible things she went through in her dangerous upbringing leave people uplifted because of her spirit. She survived by focusing on serene nature and thrived through creative expression. My script made it to the second round of the prestigious Austin Film Fest script competition. But this isn't about me. Clare's art was selected by the Natural World Museum, and she's done multiple one-woman shows at the Karpellis Museum, including Warblers and Wildflowers and Sentinels of Serenity, Cranes. Also, Clare's art was selected for the juried section of the International Gift Show. Her paintings in China were displayed at the corporate headquarters of Chevron, where she hoped her respect for nature could do some good. Her art was on the cover of the Red Rose catalog, and the Pheasants Forever magazine selected her painting for the Pollinator Print of the Year. She was the featured artist at the Lodi Sandhill Crane Festival. Her portfolio has over 600 drawings, paintings, and etchings. And she's also got an additional 300 plus stencil designs. The limited edition prints that we make ourselves are available on her web store. The link is in the description. Her previous home, 7 Levels, was on the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art gallery tours. The entire interior was an expression of her creativity. She etched wisteria on the glass behind her 4-story copper stair rail vines. She designed and hand-painted furniture. Her table and cabinet were featured in the San Francisco Designer Showcase House. She made chandeliers, fireplace screens, floral and tabletop designs. Jewelry and wardrobe. She designed and hand-carved a 202-piece set of crane china. Each piece was unique, and each dinner plate depicted a different species of crane. Clare's first book was published by Pomegranate Art Books. For her Book of Cranes, she observed all 15 species of cranes. We followed the migration of the sandhill cranes across the country and interviewed nature conservation enthusiasts like George Archibald, the founder of the International Crane Foundation. Experiencing how well we work together, I asked my mother to combine our complementary skills and named us Mother-Son Productions. The Napa Valley Arts Council asked Clare to do an art performance. Her Freedom Flight performance was dedicated to world peace and included 90 artists and the community who painted silk wings to dance in to live music. Clare's first public art performances were interpreting art at gallery openings. She did dance performances at live readings of children's stories and poetry. Clare and her dance skating partner Lateef Swain performed at Give Peace a Dance. They led the parade for the opening of the California Academy of Sciences. Clare skate danced at Theater Arto in the Nutcracker. Clare played the bamboo flute in the music she produced. She has been interviewed on the Women of Vision television show, on radio, and podcasts. We may not truly see those closest to us until something gives us a new perspective. When I was 16, she asked me to digitize her artistic portfolio, and I was able to take in the depth and breadth of her artistic accomplishments, which inspired my first movie, Life of Art. We chose a historic home by Lake Superior and named it after its original green-colored shingles. Our short documentary, Polishing the Emerald Lady, shows us restoring it. We even turned our over 100-year-old carriage house into the Carriage Creativity Studio, where we make movies, art, and even dance skate. Join Clare's Patreon for free to get ideas, instruction, and inspiration. Upgrade to a paid membership to receive exclusive access to her ever-increasing Stencil Design SVG catalog. The Creativity Show goes live on YouTube and Twitch, and also Clare Cooley's Patreon, Facebook, and LinkedIn profiles. You can send stars to support her work here on Facebook, or donate through Venmo or PayPal. The links are in the description. You can contact me by email, mothersonproductions@gmail.com, with any questions. Now remember, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend, and thank you for being here.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Bo, for that introduction. I really appreciate it. It's pretty wonderful to see what we can create together with my hands-on skills and curiosity and your technological proficiency. So thank you very much, and welcome to the Creativity Show, everybody. I'm Clare Cooley. My son, Bodhi Werner, we're Mother-Son Productions, and this series of Creativity Show grants funded by the wonderful people in the Arrowhead Regional Arts Association. I really appreciate it, and I love bringing creativity out to help others. It's what helped me. So let's start today's show. Speaking of helping me, show the art to wear, close-up of the stencil.
Absolutely. 1 second here. I'm changing my virtual background. There we go. Okay. And here is the stencil outfit.
Yeah, that's the back of this jacket. So I use my stencils. I first started, and Bodhi, you could, if it's easy, put up a little bit of that video about how to stencil on clothes and fabric. I started by covering a stain. So we can use creativity to make our clothes, used clothes, hand-me-down, stained clothes, turn it into art to wear. So I love to use creativity in every way I can to enhance my life and create beauty around me. So today's show, we're going to start with a couple minutes of floga, just to get our energy flowing. I call it floga. That's my name for it. And we're just going to be standing and moving from our toes to the tip of our head and back down. But right after we do that, we're going to do a little floga and a lot of art. So we can start the floga.
Let's get some chill music going.
Yep. So the purpose of this is just to, whatever range of motion we have, whatever space we have to work in, we're just going to start with our toes. The moose doesn't show behind you, but
let's see if I can fix that. Yeah, I'll try to get that fixed later.
Okay, so let's just floga. So toes, just feel them on the floor and wiggle them in your shoes or take your shoes off and feel the music. Then in the arch of your feet, now everything is connected, so even though we're doing our arches and toes, it goes up. Then our heels, feel the heel on the floor. And then ankles.
Got a little bit of a moose butt right here.
We got moose booty. Okay, now calves and shins. I like to go back and forth from side to side to circles. Knees. Thighs.
Oh yeah. Getting funky.
Hip. Booty. Belly. Rib cage.
If you don't feel silly, then you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah, it's not about how it looks, it's about how it feels. It's just getting blood, oxygen, all the fluids in our bodies were mostly water flowing. We're opening up those stagnant places, chest, front, back, side, side, circles, circles.
I see Joni and Michael in the chat. Hello, guys.
Hey, so I've left into our shoulders, especially if we sit at desks, drive, work on a computer.
Oh, it makes me yawn. Obviously, it's waking me up.
One of the things I try is to try a bunch of different things, moving forward, both, back, both, one, other, one, the other, back, back. Then shrugs, one. All right, upper arms. Elbows. Lower arms. Wrist. Fingers. Full arm.
The Neo. The Matrix.
Neck. Head. Nice and gentle. All right, then all the way back down. If there's any place you feel some tension, some tightness, it's time to shake it out. Okay, all the way down to the floor and then let it go. All right. This music is not what I would call chill, what I would call techno. So let's move on to something calmer.
All right.
There's enough agitation, things to be anxious about, the weather, politics, agreeing or disagreeing with neighbors, family, friends, so much. This is our let it all go time. And that's what creative reverie has been for me, which is why so many have said, you know, you're so creative, and why they say my stories help them, and why I wrote my memoir to help others, and why I share entering creative flow, medically documented, scientifically proven, improves our happiness. And depression, I just heard, is the highest cause of illness and death now. There's a lot to worry us, so we need to give ourselves permission to have time to just flow and step into that creative flow, creative reverie piece. So we're going to work on the 7 stairs series, scrolls of subtle seasons. And I like alliteration. And so there you go. That's a lot of S's. So we're going to work on the wolf today. But while I set out the art to paint in front of you, Bodhi, would you show the couple-minute time lapse of getting to this point with the series?
Absolutely.
And I'll set them out.
Sure, and before we get to that, Crimson Clear Productions on YouTube said, "Hello, love it, moose butt." Yeah.
What did Boo Spot?
Moose butt.
Oh, moose butt, yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
The moose butt is in the corner down there.
How can you not like it?
So good, so good. Welcome, everybody. All right, so I will play these time lapses while you are setting up art.
That is the deal.
This first time lapse is all 7 paintings, and then you're going to see the wolf painting shortly here.
In progress, in process. It's nothing is done yet. I'm working on the whole series at once because that's what I like to do. Sometimes, quite often, work on more than one at once, so I have the ability to let that dry without having to go do something else and wait. I can move to the next piece of art. And gives me a chance to have what I call objectivity breaks, so I don't lose sight and lose the light. One of my principles, I guess we call it an art hack, is don't lose the light. So instead of move fast and break things, move slow and make things. Enjoy the process. It is meditative. It can be serene and happiness increasing. Why would we want to rush that? And what we rush, we can just get into the movement. My mother, being a trained artist, I'm self-taught, said, most artists overwork their work. You just stop when it's done. Well, I walk away and then I come back, and one time I'll come back and my instincts will say done, and then I leave it alone and go to something else. So now let's go to that something else. Can we see the floor here with the camera when you're done with that video? Yes, we see it. And so here's all 7 scroll series, subtle seasons, I'm calling it, because I'm choosing to go back to how I began my visual art exploration officially, I guess, was Sumi brushstroke as a meditation. So now I've gone back to Sumi. For another life hack I want to share is find some place, some environment in your home or workplace or studio or shed or whatever, some place that doesn't have any magic. And what is the size and shape of that area? And then you get to use your imagination to come up with something you can add to that area to bring in some story or feelings or whatever you feel that area needs to be enlivened. So the stairs in the back from the second floor down to the first floor, I had little pieces of art in it, but you don't want to stop on a stairs and, look and hold up the flow. With stairs, you usually go down them in a movement. So it didn't really work. So then I took them down and it was an empty space with no light and no love in it. So when Sue said, how about a mural? I went, all right, I'll do a movable mural. So it goes down the stairs, telling the story of the 4 seasons subtly: winter, autumn, summer, spring, mountains, waterfall, creek, pond, above the tree line, some trees coming in, some trees with leaves after they fall in the end of autumn, and then lots of greenery, oh, it's black and white, lots of plant life, and then the pond where the water collects that will be pond animals. So I decided, well, I wanted to choose a creature for winter. The high winter above basically the tree line is the moose. And then we have a she-wolf, and she's going to be in the trees where she can blend in. And that's what I'm going to work on today. And then it's going to be an elk. And then it's going to be a fox. And then it's going to be a mother bear and her cub. And then it's going to be a bunny. And then around the pond, I'm saving. Another one of my things I like to do is every art creation, I'm going on a trip into my own imagination, and I don't know all that I'm going to find there. And so I'm saving the creatures for around the pond for when I get there. The finale will be a surprise, and I will go with my instincts. I always try to go with my instincts. And so even though I've decided a creature for all but the last one, creatures around the pond, there's a lot that just happens in the moment. And so we're gonna show you a little bit of that with the wolf now. the vixen. Is that the she-wolf or is that the fox? I think that's a female fox. Vixen.
I think you're right. I'll look it up. That is our comment bell. I looked up vixen, and of course I get a whole bunch of face creams, so I'm going to look up vixen definition. A female fox.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
What's
what I
a
wanted to see first, Google. Come on.
And so the female wolf is a she-wolf, right?
That's a good question. Does anybody know? Let's look up female wolf definition. She-wolf is a female gray wolf. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, a female wolf. Cool.
Okay, so we're going to be working on the she-wolf in her environment. And so I'm getting set up. So.
And Michael said, yes, Vixen the Fox. And Crimson Clear said, I dig the music. Yeah,
Good.
It's got some psychedelic vibes. Good for making art too. And if you could adjust, depending on what part of the painting you're going to be working on.
Okay.
The fox is at the very bottom of the screen.
It's a wolf, and is that okay, or do you want me to move it up?
I would just move it up a few inches. There we go. That looks great.
And then what's in here is all good?
Yep.
All right. So how about a quote?
Perfect timing. Quote time. On to our next segment. As we love to quote, creativity quotes. Here we go. Albert Einstein. Creativity is contagious. Pass it on.
Nice. Thanks, Albert.
Indeed, indeed. Now, we got an email question. If you sign up for her free Patreon, patreon.com/Clare Cooley, you can send us in questions not during our live streams, and then we read them during the live stream. And one of those questions was, which I think is perfect from that last YouTube comment, what's your favorite music for doing art to? Or noise, white noise, etc.?
Well, the answer to that is when I painted outer space for nearly a year, I listened to Kitaro. It felt like outer space music. I quite often like Paul Horn while I'm composing, very meditative flute. But I always like what all the music that I like to do art to has in common is it's there supporting me being in the moment, not distracting me from what I'm doing.
Yeah, Michael said, reminds me of the 60s and 70s Beatles sitar music, LOL. That's what I was feeling.
I was born on John Lennon's birthday, so that's pretty cool. And we're both born in different dragon years, but we're both dragons. So the Chinese astrology says.
I'm going to get this closer now that you're working there.
All righty. I'm snowing. And the paints I use, Sumi, the Suzuri to mix the Sumi ink stick in, the acrylic paint that I snow on the Sumi with, are in affiliate links, right?
Yes. The affiliate links in the description of this video on YouTube.
Okay. And I'm doing this on donated. Another one of my policies is to use what I have. Use whatever I have to work with, whether it's sticks or stones or feathers, or like the clay paper was donated from someone who worked a professor at the university. And so that's what I have to work with for this movable mural. And the other thing I have to work with, besides my own imagination, my favorite tool, is other people's great ideas. And listening to people is how my career started, when 9 people in one day said you should teach, and I didn't know I knew anything that was valuable to others, and I hadn't taken any, I hadn't, even really gone to school normal regularly. So I hadn't taken any art or dance courses or writing. So I didn't know I had something other people would appreciate until people asked me to teach. And so many in one day, I thought they know something I don't. So besides our own ideas and the materials that are safe and we have available, what we also have is other people's ideas and perceptions and feedback. I hung my art in a number of restaurants, cafes, from fancy Domaine Chandon and Auberge du Soleil, and corporate headquarters, and little cafes, little, coffee shop, dessert places. And there was a couple that I worked in, and nobody knew it was my art. So I got to listen to candid responses to my work from complete strangers who didn't know I was the artist. So I could just hear what regular people said looking at my art. And that's part of what I always loved to create, but part of what made me commit to it being my way, my business, is that people said, it's so peaceful. And I thought, wow, that's a good thing to add to the world. There's so much that's not peaceful. That's a good thing. So then I committed to trying to bring it out further and further to increase peace in the world and be able to afford to do it more and more. And now I can do it full time. Like everybody, I have my own life maintenance responsibilities, but other than that, I get to do my art, and I'm so grateful. And I worked really hard to get here, and I'm very grateful I'm here. Believe in yourself. Do what makes you happy. Do what you love, and give your love to the world. All right.
And on to our next segment, the creativity news of the day.
Yay.
Yes. And this is a sub-segment of our regular segment. This would be the regional creativity news of the day. And for those of you in the upper Midwest, I want to draw your attention to the upcoming art events in March. We've got the Ely Film Festival happening in March 12th through
the 16th. And those of you who've been paying attention, 2 of our short films will be playing in that festival. Then there's another festival, which is the Minnesota Film Festival, which runs from March 19th to 23rd. That's in Duluth and the Zeitgeist Arts Building, which has a movie theater. And they've also got a pitch competition. And so those are both open to the public and really cool, fun events that I highly recommend you guys check out.
Nice, thank you. So of course, one of the things that happens when you use water or liquid is it gets wet. So how I deal with that is letting it dry, and I have plastic on here, and I take this wet one off, and then there's another one underneath it, and after the show I can wash that off and use these over and over. And so it's not paper towels I throw away, it's plastic I keep reusing. So while that's drying, how about, Bo, while I set up to work on the next one, I'm going to go to the stag, the buck, I guess we call him. So I'm passing the buck to you
All right.
to maybe show the video of how you set up to do this live stream while I set that up.
Sure. Well, Crimson Clear said, I love the overhead camera angle. Thank you very much. So how about I give you a little tour of our live stream setup, show you everything. And as you can see, I got the green screen behind me, and it's only 10 feet wide, so we got the rest of the office on either end here. So let me pull up the video to give you a tour of our whole situation. Right. Let's see. Here it is. So I'm going to share the screen in a moment, and we'll play it that way. All right, here it is. Let's make that big and me small. So here is the live streaming setup. So we've got our main camera for Claire out there, recording onto an external hard drive with a Tokina 11-16 ultra wide angle lens. That's how we're able to get the whole room, that whole field of view, to see all 7 paintings on the floor. And that's why I had to go out there and pick the camera up and move it in closer to her now that she's working on the table. And that's our Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. And we've got that connected to her laptop. And then now I'm pointing to the overhead camera and the external monitor we use to record it in 4K resolution. And then we output a video signal from that monitor to the laptop. So we've got 2 cinema cameras going into that laptop, the front wide angle camera and the overhead camera for the art. And then that laptop via an Ethernet cable is networked in here into my office. And you can see we've got a lot of lights to give us a nice soft lighting setup in that space. And the overhead camera is a Panasonic Lumix GH5 with a Sigma Art 18-35 wide angle zoom lens. And here we are coming into the office. You see the green screen setup and the lighting, little ring light. And we got a backlight there to separate me from the green screen. That's actually right here. And then we've got the main command center, the battle station, so to speak, where I run the operation, where I run the live stream using Restream. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of moving parts, and we've been perfecting it over time. And we love getting your feedback and your comments, and we take your feedback seriously, and it helps us improve. So if you ever have any thoughts or questions, leave them in the comments. And let's check back in with the artiste.
All right. Is this showing?
Let's open up yeah, there's the stag.
Okay, there's the stag, the size I drew it. And then Bodhi took a picture and reduced it, and reduced it, and reduced it, and reduced it.
Yeah, it's
for this
basically
painting.
invisible. It went from big to invisible. But yeah, bring it up towards the camera a little bit. Maybe they'll be able to see a little bit better. That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now I get to decide which size I want in this piece. Further from the our where we as the viewer of this art are, the smaller it's going to be. So if I have the stag up here, it'd be there. If I have it here, it'd be about that size. If I have it here, it might be that size. And if I have it here, maybe it'd be that size. We also flip the direction on this one for fun. So now I get to decide what size I want it. And I think I like it really small up there, but not that far away. That is too small. And that is, it'll be kind of like those kids' books, if I do it that small, but I like it. So once again, going with my instincts. So that's a design hack.
It'll be like Where's Waldo, but with a deer.
Yeah, they have kids' books where, I've seen them on social media where, how many words can you find in this picture and stuff. So this little guy's going to be close to invisible in there. Now, what I'm going to do is trace him with a pencil because he's so whittle, such a whittle guy. And it's going to be a very delicate operation to do him in Sumi. But that's all right, because we're going to start with pencil to give ourselves the best chance of this being successful. There we go. I don't know if the camera can see this.
It can. Perhaps I'll come out and zoom it in. Crimson
Right?
Clear said, I loved seeing that. Thank you for the behind the scenes look.
Good.
Okay. Could you...
What? Really help with this pencil or sharpener. So that's what pencil sharpeners are for. Okay, that's a good idea too. We're just full of good ideas. Now in nature, everything has its own individual not exact, and the human brain that wants to make things exact sometimes messes up the reality feeling by making it so exact.
And I gotta kind of get it in focus, which is,
Challenging for something this small.
well, the angle I have to work. There we go.
Okay, so I put the waterfall, hey guys, in with some pencil lines that now I'm taking out because the waterfall is going to be white. But how's that, Stag? Now, because this is the third one, there's not going to be, third coming down from the top of the stairs, it's going winter, autumn, summer, spring. So there will be no snow on the ground. So this guy can stand out much better because he's going to have Sumi tones, and the mountain range behind him is going to be pale compared to more tone in the mountain range that's closest to us. How we get a feeling of distance is the tone, the depth of the color or pigment that we're perceiving gets fainter and fainter the further it gets away.
Get
So
more pale in comparison.
there you go.
How about I show them what it looks like in the stairs, work in progress, so they can actually see.
Sure.
So here it is.
And I hung it up so that I could get the feeling of the flow of the landscape going from mountains to pond, mountains to hills to forest to pond. I could get the feeling. So I hung it up. So now we're taking out our little.
That's the sound of our next creativity quote. Dorothea Brand, who was an American writer and editor in New York City, said, "A child's mind is not a container to be filled, but rather a fire to be kindled."
Nice. So true. And how we increase connection to our own imagination, our confidence to express it, and our courage to share it is by encouraging that childlike playfulness that often gets submerged in critical, competitive, grown-up life, but doesn't have to. And we can encourage that playful part of us and others, and that is where creativity lives and thrives. So it's a good reason to be encouraging to our childlike curiosity.
We got another question. One of our Patreon write-ins. MGuy006. He said, "Here is a question about working together. How do you know who you should share your ideas or projects with?"
That is a great question. Thank you for asking it. And my answer is that the people that encourage us and definitely not the people that discourage us, the people who are champions of us being ourselves supportive of us exploring our curiosities, not the ones that say critical things like, oh, you know, what good is that? Or you'll never make money doing that, or all the fear-based controlling things people can say to others and themselves. Those are the people not to share our tender, vulnerable inner sanctum of where our curiosity lives. So the people that encourage us.
And Michael on YouTube, when we showed the photo of the staircase mural, now that looks great, and great idea up the stairs, actually gives the staircase depth.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. Yeah, it didn't feel right with the little prints in there, and I gave myself permission to take them down. I didn't know what was going to replace them. And then when Sue said mural, I went, yeah, how about a movable mural? I like things to be flexible. In case I want to hang them somewhere else in the future, and having them be 7 pieces instead of one big piece means there's more flexibility. So a movable mural, give that staircase some life, some energy, a story, some magic, which is, I think, why doing art is so uplifting, is it feels like magic every time.
And Joni said the movable mural is a great idea and your home is beautiful. Do you have any interior design principles you like to follow? And what ties a space together?
Great questions. And fortunately, I've thought about this because before, so I can answer something I feel good about, because that requires a lot of thought. Number one in interior design principles is, what do we want the space to feel like? Number two, for me, because I like to be economical and ecological, what do I have to work with to create that feeling there? Like the living room, I call it the really living room, because as you can see, I'm doing art in it, but everything is flexible. It can move, so I can do yoga. I can even skate dance in here. I can visit. I can chill in front of the fireplace. So the art materials and tools are organized into that cabinet, so it feels serene. There's an enormous amount of tools, an art cabinet, a product and tool cabinet, organizing prints and support materials in both of those benches. Even when it's the normal configuration, when we're not doing live streams, even the stools are storage spaces. So I want it to feel serene, comfortable, and inspiring what I want to have happen in here, which is visiting, relaxing, creating, sharing. And so first, what do you want the space or that area to feel like? Second, what do you have to work with? Instead of waiting until you have enough money to buy something, what do you have to work with? Make something with what you have. And then enjoy it. Enjoy doing it. And even if you want to change it later, that's life. The only thing that's constant in life is change. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be fun to do it and live with it for a while, and then rearrange it or enhance it edit it, refine it later. So how is that? And
Fantastic.
I have one other. I like to have different color themes. Like this room is the yellow. The kitchen is orange. The third floor apartment for creativity retreat clients is beige and red, sparks of red. My room is mauve. Bodhi's room has indigo. You know, so the Forever Spring room is all the colors because it's spring. The dining room is green with the celadon dishes. So the other principle is what keeps it calm is not to have too much going on. So a color that's the main color helps it stay calm.
Great. And as we're wrapping up here, time is flying because we're having fun. It is 12:59, and
Wow.
I've got a handful of comments I will read. So on YouTube, Crimson Clear said, beautiful. Joni B said, that's super helpful. Thank you. And on Facebook, Kristen Gilpatrick said, I love the time lapse. So there we go.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. We really appreciate the comments. So, boy, time did fly today. So let's end with you showing. We talked about, you know, who we should let see our process, those who support us, who we should collaborate with, those that help us and we can help. And I love collaborating with Bodhi. Do you have something you could show of your work? And then we'll wrap it up.
Oh, thank you. That's a lovely compliment. I'd be happy to show something. I made like a little reel recently for a project. It just shows multiple different of my short film stuff. Is that what you'd like me to play?
Sure, and what I want the audience to consider is that we can be completely different in our taste and style and the genre we want to share and still really help each other as Bodhi and I do. And you can see, we probably couldn't be any more different in our aesthetic.
That is for sure. And while I play this, I'll remind you guys, check out her Patreon on patreon.com/Clare Cooley. You can join for free. But if you become a paid member, you'll get access to her SVGs.
All right.
So this is part of a short film that we both did some voice acting in. There she was in the beginning there. And this is made in Unreal Engine. And I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's going to be playing at the Ely Film Festival in March. And I'd love for you guys to check it out. It's called Liminal Forest, and it's entirely 3D animated. So that's fun. And then I'll show you a little bit about animation. I was going to ask if the audio is coming through over there, but then she looked up as soon as there was a burp. So I think there is audio. So that was just a quick little skit I did while learning how to do facial motion capture animation. Now, this next one is, we won the Best Director Award for this project. This was shot here in Duluth in the Sinclair Lewis House. And it was also shot in the historic lighthouse next to the lift bridge. And Claire was a producer on this one. So we got some spooky things going. I've always been into thrillers and spooky stuff. And I'll give you a little clip of Northport 1999, a short film I made based on my book, also in Unreal Engine. All right, so there you go.
Okay. Well, thank you, Bodhi, for sharing that. And as you can see, it doesn't matter how different our curiosities, our inspiration, our dreams are, we can help each other bring them into fruition and share them with the world by being supportive and honest and getting real feedback, which we appreciate and love, coming from wanting to help us get better is a compliment. So constructive criticism is a compliment. And knowing how to do that sometimes is something we have to learn. It doesn't come naturally in a world that, for some, that is so competitive, unless you had my mother, who was always supportive, no matter how real and critical some of the things she wanted to share with me, felt I needed to hear. It always came from love, so I always received it as a compliment. So we can share real, necessary, constructive criticism, do it from love, and always have a desire to support each other, be happy, share, do what makes us happy. So you can see Bodhi and I are extremely different in what it is we want to share with the world, but he helps me be better. I hope I help him be better. I hope I help you. We help you. Trust your own curiosity and have some fun expressing it.
Great.
Okay.
And yep, and if you enjoy this live stream, please make sure to leave a like or comment wherever you are. Share it. That also really helps us spread the word. And if you want more content like this, check out the Creativity Show on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe and also sign up for the Patreon right here. You can scan this QR code or go to patreon.com/Clare Cooley. Clare is CLARE without an I. And sign up. You can join for free now. Or if you become a paid member, you get a whole bunch of cool perks, including all of her stencil designs. All right, guys. Been a lot of fun. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for the comments. We really appreciate it.
We do. See you Thursday at noon if you can be here. There's 2 more live streams in this series. I'm going to finish it in front of you. Hopefully, that's my goal. I start slow and then I pick up speed as I feel like I've got what I'm trying to express is coming out smoothly. In the beginning, it's cautious and slow. 2 more in this 7 series, and then I begin a 20 series that will be illustrating my life stories, my memoir, has 68 pieces of art in it. But this next grant I got to do 20 live streams will be illustrating my stories kind of literally, or more literally. This is the art I've done over the years, the stories of my life. The art is a little break between the stories, a little creative, natural meditation. But so this series next on Thursday at noon, and then Monday at noon, and then I'll start the new series illustrating my stories. So
And check out her book here. You scan the QR code, that'll take you to her full color memoir and art book on Amazon. It's got 68 pieces of art and 52 short stories, essays. It's really an amazing book. And it was called an instant classic by the co-founder of Sundance.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for being here. Love to connect with you on these virtual visits. And thanks for all your help and all the questions and comments that came in. Every one of you, we appreciate. And see